Hello. In this week's Torah portion, Tavo, we read about the commandment of Bikurim, offering God the first fruits of the harvests. Quote, "You shall take some of every first fruit of the soil, which you harvest, and put it in a basket. The priest shall take the basket from your hands and set it down in front of the altar of the Lord your God. You shall say, I now bring the first fruits of the soil, which you, O Lord, have given me. You shall then leave it and bow low before the Lord your God. And you shall enjoy, together with the Levite and the stranger in your midst, all the bounty that the Lord your God has bestowed upon you and your household." End of quote. The priests divided the fruit among themselves to be eaten later and gave back the ornate and expensive baskets to their owners. Likewise, animal sacrifices had to be the best animals that we possessed, those without any blemishes. Here are three such injunctions from the Torah. Your sacrificial lamb shall be without blemish. With the bread you shall present as burnt offerings to the Lord 7 yearling lambs without blemish. Instruct the Israelite people to bring you a red cow without blemish. The book of Proverbs teaches, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the best of all that you produce. However, later the prophets were quite critical of donations to God and sacrifices, because while some people discharged their ritual obligations, they did not pay heed to the ethical commandments. God says through the prophet Amos, quote, "If you offer me burnt offerings, I will not accept them. Spare me the sound of your hymns, but let justice well up like water, righteousness like a mighty stream." And through the prophet Hosea, "For I desire loving kindness, not sacrifice, knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings." And the prophet Micah argues in a similar manner. Quote, "The people ask, with what shall I approach God, do homage to God on high? Shall I approach with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Would God be pleased with thousands of rams, with myriads of streams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for my sins?" God replies, "You have been told, O man, what is good and what the Lord requires of you, only to do justice and to love goodness and to walk humbly with your gods. Then your name will achieve wisdom." End of quote. After the Romans destroyed the temple, making sacrifices impossible, the traditional Jewish teaching was extended to say that all donations for the sake of gods, not to gods, should be of the best goods we possess. Maimonides summarized it as follows, quote, "Everything given for the sake of the Almighty should be of the most attractive and highest quality. If one builds a house of prayer, it should be more attractive than his own dwelling. Whenever one designates something for a holy purpose, he should sanctify the finest of his possessions. As the Torah states, all of the choicest quality should be given to God." End of quote. He even extended it to all charity, presumably on the grounds that giving to the poor is giving to God. Quote, "If he feeds a hungry person, he should feed him from the best and most tasty foods of his table. If he clothes one who is naked, he should clothe him with his attractive garments." This is echoed in a summary of the Code of Jewish Law. Anything you do for the sake of heaven should be the best and the most beautiful. The Lubavitcher Rebbe extends that notion even further to the order of studies in schools and in activities that benefit the community. Quote, "The rule, the choicest to God's, applies in all areas of life. If the school day must include both sacred and secular studies, sacred studies should be scheduled for the morning hours, when the mind is at its freshest and most receptive. If one's talents are to be divided between two occupations, one whose primary function is to pay the bills, and a second to benefit his fellow man, he should devote his keenest abilities to the latter. In devoting the first ripened fruit of his life to God, a person in effect is saying, here lies the focus of my existence." End of quote. In the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the hero has to choose among the many Kiddush cups in front of him which one belonged to Jesus. He concluded it had to be the simplest and least ornate one, a plain clay cup, on the grounds that he was poor. Wrong. Even poor observant Jews make sacrifices to buy ornate Kiddush cups. What should we think of these extensions? What if you don't give of the best? It's better than giving nothing. Charity is charity, no? Isn't it natural to want to save the best for yourself? Here are some jokes that reflect these human attitudes. A ship runs into a storm. A passenger says, God, if you let me survive, I pledge to donate $10,000 to charity. The storm abates. The man that says, on second thought, why don't I give only $5,000 to charity? Immediately the storm begins raging again in full force. The man then looks up to the sky and says, hey, couldn't you tell I was just joking? A farmer tells his wife, one of our cows gave birth to twins. Let's offer one of them to the Lord. When we sell it, we'll give the proceeds to charity. A few months later, he goes to his wife, looking very sad, and tells her, the Lord's calf died. A man is desperately looking for a parking space. He prays, God, if you get me a parking space, I will be more observant. I will give $5,000 to charity. I will. Oh, wait, never mind. I found one. What are the implications of the sage's injunctions to donate only the best you own? If I upgrade one of my possessions, car, appliance, furniture, and give the old one to charity, is that bad? Suppose a destitute refugee family moves in my neighborhood. They need a car. I give them mine and buy a new car for myself. The sages say I should have given them the new car. Is that going too far? To follow the letter of the injunction, should I instead sell what I no longer need and donate the proceeds to charity rather than giving away objects? Point to ponder. Shabbat Shalom.